Hey, and we're back. Hey, Michael, how are you, man? Sorry about the interruption earlier. Weather just decided, meh. Hey, DD, how are you, man? That's good to hear. I am trying to keep up with chat. I have a monitor on the side, but I just got new readers, and unfortunately, they are great for seeing the models I'm working on, but they are horrible for looking up and reading the chat. So if I seem to pause for long times, it's just me trying to focus. Oh, it wasn't that I done gone. It was just that the Wi-Fi done gone. I'm just sitting here talking, la 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 la, and then nothing. All right, so let's jump back in. I went ahead and finished up the wings I had been working on, but I decided while I was looking at it that I went too bright too fast. I don't know. Let's see if I can get up there. If you guys can see, I've got like some. Yeah, there we go. A nice little dark gradient here, but it's bright in the middle. I want that bright, but I want a little bit darker in these edges before I get to that bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the pink and pale pink that I was working with. And I'm going to add in just a little bit of this purple. Mix up sort of a lavendery color. And then I'm going to take that and work it into the corners. In fact, actually, what I'll do is this is just a little bit of a glaze medium. It'll keep the pigment from working out too much so that it still spreads like paint, but I get a little bit more of a transparent layer out of it. We'll see how that works. I'm kind of liking that. Yeah, that looks much better. And we're just going to go until the weather decides that I can't go anymore today, and then that'll be it. So, might get another hour in, might get two. We'll see what happens. This is the first time I've used these paints, and I must say I am extremely impressed by them. I was told that they do exactly what you tell them to do, and I didn't believe it. But I'm a convert. Well, it wasn't that I thought you were lying, man. It was just that, you know, I've heard that spiel from paint companies, and you know what I'm talking about. You do this, and it's just one of those things where so many companies come out and talk about their paints and they're like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever and it does this and it does that. And until you actually pick something up and it does what they say it does, that's, it's nice. I know that my cameras are way too over bright right now, but case in point, let's see. Yeah, you can see it a little bit right here. So you guys saw me at the very beginning, I sprayed that blue. And you've seen how many coats of paint I've already put on this. And that blue is still showing through just a little bit. You're getting enough pigment in each layer that it's covering, but you're getting enough translucency through it that you can get the blending to work. And that is very rare. See, here's another spot that I've just done, and you can still see that nice blue band right through it. And paint can tell you guys when you're trying to blend, dry time is so, critical that with most products on the market, you're spending a lot of time. Well, you're chasing a dry time, and you're using different medias or mediums. Like I don't even have any water on my palette hardly. I think it's still the water on it that I put on it last week when I went to paint. So it's not even a wet palette; it's a damp palette, and the paint's hardly even drying on it. It's like it wants to wait on you to use it, which is cool. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Somebody got to do the housekeeping around here because I sure forget. Absolutely. That is exactly how I feel about it. But it's what happens when you buy a product that's developed by painters for painters. Mm-hmm. I do enjoy the Reapers. Well, the MSP. Those were the black lid bottles, correct? Kind of their Pro Series paints. They had a really good pigment density load, and I found them real good for wet blending. But they weren't as smooth as these. The white lid dropper bottles. I thought those were the black, or was it the? Am I thinking the yellow label versus the white label? The regular Reaper were just in the white label bottles. I also like that when these are, as long as you catch them before they're completely dry, you can get them to reactivate just enough so that you negate any coffee staining, which is really cool. Anybody unfamiliar with the term, coffee staining is when you lay down some paint and it dries, and then you get a little line where your next coat went over it and you can see the dried spot underneath it. Hey, Suzanne. Yeah, I had the storm started blowing in, and the Wi-Fi just decided it did not want to be cooperating with me out here. So I went inside, fixed a little lunch, and waited it out. Tried again, and here we are. Tide lines. Okay, I can see why you would call it that. All right. Now I am much more comfortable with how this looks now than I was before. So now what I think I'll do is I'm gonna work this edge a little bit more. I think before I move on to my next set of blend layers, I'm going to add in a little bit of veining. Yeah, we had a pretty big one blow through, but I think the worst of it was up actually towards Perry. I need to check in with him and see if he's okay. I wish I had po' boys last night. That'd have been great. I was just telling Suzanne we had at first of the two storms blow through today, and then we've got another one that should be here about 7 o'clock tonight. It's sitting over Memphis right now, so but it's moving pretty quickly. So hopefully it kind of blows itself out a little bit before it gets here. I'm not so much worried about us. I am worried about Somerset and London north of us, so they don't need another one right now. They just had that big one that came through the other night. All right, so let's mix up. I think we're gonna do some of this blue gray. And a little bit of the faded purple. As for what happened, though, it was just when the storms get bad out here, a lot of EM interference in the air, then the Wi-Fi doesn't make it out to the shop, shuts me down. Looks kind of varicosey. I don't know if y'all can see those or not. I mean, they're all going to get pushed to the back, so they're not going to be really prominent in the end. Because this is still going to get quite a few glaze layers over the top of it that are going to really darken up the outside edges and then get some more highlights right through the middle. Yeah, big fan of Ryan Hall. He's actually not far from us, relatively speaking. Thank you, Suzanne. These will be, hopefully, if everything continues to go right, these will be veins. So the wings are supposed to look transparent when I'm done. So everything we've done so far to it is just to build up basically these outside edges. So everything in the middle is just being coated over so the transitions are smooth, so that when I come in across the top and start glazing over this, it gives it the illusion of transparency, in theory. Yeah, Surgeon, those weather stations he sells are pretty cool. we have any new people here and y'all are enjoying what you're seeing, I do this pretty much every Tuesday, Wi-Fi permitting. And it's not always this. I do automotive painting, not on cars. I do it on basically anything flat that I can find to spray. There's going to be a lot more model painting here in the near future. Paint and Suffering and I are working on a collaboration project that should be pretty fun. So if you'd like to get notified when I can figure out how to schedule these things, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know, and it's free. Yeah, I know a couple of you guys have tuned in and seen Martin paint, and he's absolutely incredible. So I look forward to painting with him again. I always learn a lot whenever I've got brushes out with him. Take care, Michael. Be safe getting home, man. Appreciate you hanging out. You had Martin it as you. Like, just give me the trimmings off the bottom, man. He's not wrong. That's where all the flavor is. All I'm doing for this blue is periodically I'm pulling a little bit more of the purple in so that the lines have a little bit of variation unto themselves. What's up, Delan? How you doing, man? Thanks for popping in. Oh, cool. How'd you know? Getting everybody in today. Cool. Thank you, Grumpy. So what happened to your Invictus channel? Or are you just moving all that stuff over? Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, I do. My YouTube profile should have all my socials in there. Yeah, I got Weirdwood Artisans, which is the my wife and I's brand. And then you can also find me at the Runic Workshop on Instagram and Facebook. I'm horribly bad about updating both of those pages. I was much better at it because I used to be able to just push from Instagram to Facebook, and so I only had to follow one. But then they changed something, and now I don't get pushes the way I used to, so I always forget. I hear you. So are you just going to move your artwork over then, so that you don't lose the art for it? Cool. Because you had some really neat stuff posted over there. Yeah, it's just one of those matters of inconveniently convenient. I just like that it's real easy to get a push there. You don't, a couple of hashtags and your stuff gets seen by people, which at the end of the day is, I mean, if you're making art and putting it out for people to see, isn't that the point, to get it seen? I personally could have just stopped that statement at "I struggle." There's a couple of programs out there that you can use. Most of them are paid services, but they allow you to schedule to multiple platforms all at once. And then you can schedule when your posts go out and to who, which is pretty nice. But like I said, it's a paid service. Any of the good ones are anyway. Okay, so here we go. Now you can see the veins. All right. So I guess what I need to do then is back to my big brush. We'll take what's left of this blue and purple, bring in a little bit of the pink. Maybe a touch of medium. Oh, well, that's cool. Yep. That's what I want. All right, now we're back to the same process we were doing before. We're just going to start, but we're not going to go all the way into the wing this time. We're going to stay a little bit closer to the middle. So the coffee staining or the tide lines that we were speaking of earlier, this is where they would be a very big problem with most other paints, because you really couldn't do what I'm doing without worrying about them leaving a hard edge. I don't know. Do you know, what am I missing? Did you say something earlier and I missed it? Ah, can we see the front? I mean, sure, there's nothing there, but there we go. So all I've done with it so far on the front, this is what the back actually started as. This is a combination of dark warm gray dark gray blue, and purple. And I think, let's see. You can't really see it. I've got too many tags in there. So anyway, that was just to spray the some darkness in around so that you get these nice, I don't know, more vibrant and lively edges right next to the bone where you would have the most blood flow. And then I also did a combination of the dark warm gray and the dark umber for the base of the rocks that he's standing on. So if and when I get to painting that part, it's already got a good base coat on it. And then I've just been working this up over here on the palette. This is purple and some pinks. And then these are a pair of pinks with a little bit of the purple mixed in. And now I'm back to the faded purple, I think is what I picked, with a little bit of the glaze medium. And I'm going in and washing out to start blending out the transparent areas. And I'll probably go back with this glaze layer 2 or 3 times. Letting it work itself out just a little bit more. And then I'll come in with almost a wash over the top of the whole thing, and that'll kind of tie everything together. But I'm trying to get away from relying on washes, so it's going to be a very targeted wash, I think, if I do it. We'll see how this glazing goes. Bothers me that this all looks white. It's not white. Or is it just the monitor I'm using? I'm on a TV screen and it doesn't really have the greatest color. Yeah, we'll see.